Hey guys, how we doing? Lifeaneur episode 4. Thank you for watching and listening. I don't take your attention lightly. This topic is called self-sabotaged subconsciously. You don't even realize that you're self-sabotaging yourself. You're doing it subconsciously, right? And this one is actually something that I'm actually super passionate about because I have self-sabotaged myself so many times in my life on so many levels. And if it wasn't for certain mentors, certain coaches, certain YouTube videos that I listen to on a daily basis, certain friends, I would constantly be sabotaging myself. And so I want to share, some stories and some intellect and some things that I created content-wise to give you guys some real perspective on how we subconsciously self-sabotage. How we don't do it consciously, we don't mean to do it, we don't even realize we're doing it until it's too late. And we do this in life, we do this in relationships, we do this in raising our kids, we do this in health, fitness, nutrition, in towards of instant gratification. We do it out of fear. We do it out of so many things. We do it out of other people told us to. Somebody that gave us bad advice, but it's somebody who's credible, right? And so, self-sabotage is something that you really have to look at through a humility filter. You really got to look at it through a humility filter. And what I mean by that is when anybody who is remotely credible or not, identifies a weakness in your character or a flaw in your ability to process information in a way which is not actually attacking you, but you feel attacked, that you feel like you have to defend everything else. That's your subconscious bringing out your ego and your pride to be able to defend your position rather than to listen and interpret is this person attacking me? Or is this person actually giving me constructive criticism to evolve? The biggest flaw with hiring a coach is your ability or not to receive the constructive criticism in which they give you. If you hire a personal trainer, and this personal trainer is a good deal and charges you 40 or 50 bucks an hour, which is a great deal, right? And you're able to learn from this personal trainer, but you don't apply it, then you are self-sabotaging what they've actually taught you, right? Now, there's also self-sabotage in towards of having perspective in what's really going to benefit your life. I call this actionable content now. It's actually stuff you can utilize, tools you can utilize, content you can utilize to be able to better yourself on a physical, spiritual, financial, freedom, form of lifestyle to grow yourself on so many different pillars that matters to you. But it doesn't matter if you don't utilize this stuff and instead you still subconsciously self-sabotage, right? You want that six-pack, but not bad enough to discipline yourself and stay consistent and have an obsession. And I want to go through one of the reasons why you're probably self-sabotaging yourself subconsciously, right? That's a lot of S's. It's kind of a tongue twister right there. It's kind of funny, right? Subconsciously self-sabotage. There we go. That's what it's going to be called. Beautiful, right? So one of the big reasons that I learned why people sabotage themselves is strictly because of either pleasure or pain. And let me explain this to you, right? If you're in a state of income that is comfortable for you, if you're in a state of income which pays your bills easily, effortlessly, and you are not in any pain, and you can go on vacations, you have your car payments paid, you have your mortgage paid, and you don't really have much in savings, but you don't need it because the money's going to last forever. You are self-sabotaging yourself by not always looking for what is going to happen to you in the future. You're not asking yourself, what is the what if? How can I anticipate worst case scenario happening and be able to level up? The most difficult person to coach or mentor is somebody who's comfortable. Somebody who makes $150,000 a year, does all the things they want to do, and they listen to the podcast, they listen to the people that speaking on YouTube and all the other stuff there, but they don't do nothing. They don't do nothing until one day they lose their job. They lose their income. They lose that comfortability, and guess what happens? Now you felt pain, and now you're willing to come and visit me and come talk to me and figure out what you should do now because you're in pain. But the reality is, my friend, to stop subconsciously sabotaging yourself is when times are good, is when you're looking how to evolve to make times better. Because you can always go from good to great, from great to outstanding, but you can also go from good to bad really quickly, from great to bad, from outstanding to bad. It happened in the real estate crash. It happened in the stock market crash. It happens all the time when your company you work for 20 years lets you go 10 months before your pension. It happens when your parent who provided all of this income is no longer or with us or is now disabled and can't provide that income. Life will happen to you, my friend. And if you are in a position of comfortability right now, congratulations. I hope this is your self-sabotaging subconscious wake-up call to actually realize that, just because you're on level 4 doesn't mean that you can go back down to level 1. You need to always be even moving forward, or gravity will get a hold of you one way or another. It doesn't matter. I can preach it to you time and time and time again. If you don't believe me, what happened to Toys R Us? What did Amazon do to Toys R Us? Okay? You don't believe me? Look at, all the bookstores, Barnes & Noble, right? Where are you now, my friend? Where are you now? Okay? You don't believe me? Look at Kodak. Kodak was a multi-billion-dollar company in the 90s. And they try to tell people and tell themselves they weren't in the picture business. They're in the printing business. People will always want their pictures printed. Well, social media proved you wrong, my friend. The digital camera proved you wrong, my friend. And guess where you went? You went from being a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate to not even having regular generation kids like millennials, like guys my age, who even know what Kodak is. You were a blip in history. Demonetization of jobs and your interest and the stock market going up and down, it is predictable. It is going to happen. If you look at the life cycle of different companies and the demonetization of it, it's inevitable. It's going to happen if you don't live in a state of anticipation. Okay? And if you're comfortable, then you're sabotaging your future, because it will happen where those waters will get murky. Those waters will get dark, and the sharks will come out to play. And when the sharks come out to play, they're looking to eat. right? If you don't believe me, what happened in 2007 in the stock market? What happened in the real estate market, right? 6.2 million people were filed foreclosure on, right? And the reason why is because no one believed that the market for mortgages, who would not pay their mortgage? Everybody will pay their mortgage, right? And for the most instance, they're right, that meet these parameters and qualifications. But the banks got greedy because they were selling more of these retirement plans that these conglomerate unions were buying off of them for huge amounts of margin, billions of dollars for 30 years, and that they couldn't make them fast enough until they started putting in 500 credit scores, 400 credit scores, people that make no money, selling them $500,000 houses because they'll figure it out. They will figure it out. And just to hedge their bet, they're going to give you a 5-year fixed rate and a 25-year rolling rate based on the waters for the bankers. If the waters get dark, your interest rate goes up. If that water gets murky and wavy, your interest rate goes up. And guess what happened in the end of 2007, the beginning of 2008? Your interest rate tripled, causing your monthly premium to go from $1,200 to $5,000. And that mortgage that used to be possible is now impossible. And what they actually did to try and save their own skin ended up backfiring on them, because instead of losing maybe 500,000 homes to foreclosure, keeping the rates and everything else the same, they lost 6.2 million. But the banker boys got lucky with almost $1 trillion bailout. What did you get? Does anyone you know, did they feel any pain from that? Anyone that you are related to, did they feel any pain from that? Did you yourself feel any pain in 2008 and 2007? Let me just tell you, I personally felt a lot of pain. I was in the military between the years of 2004 and the end of 2008. Okay, I was overseas in the Pacific Ocean in the 7th Fleet. One of the ships I was on is called the U.S. Frank Cable. The USS Frank Cable. It's a subtender AS-40. You can look it up. And I think it's decommissioned now, but in 2007 it wasn't. And I had twin boys with my wife at the time, and one of them was disabled. So my ex-wife went under like a kind of a depression. She blamed herself, and I got out of the military because I didn't want her to feel that pain by herself. And I got out of the military, which was paying my bills. Yes, I wasn't making any money, but it was paying my bills. I had great health insurance. I had a great job. I was being promoted. I was Sailor of the Year. I got all these awards and accolades, and I was crushing the careerism of the Navy, and I got out. I got out because I wanted to be a daddy, and I figured if I can make money in the Navy, I can make money anywhere. And guess what? In 2008, being a 23-year-old non-college graduated, it didn't matter if I had a college degree or not, nobody was hiring. I went back to New York, and there was picket fences everywhere, union, pipe fitters unions, steel worker unions. They were all picketing. There was real estate development that was frozen. Banks took all the money off the table that they were lending people at the time for all kinds of projects. Businesses were going belly up. Mortgages were flopping. Foreclosure was on the rise. And I couldn't produce 2 nickels together if my life depended on it at that time. So I did what anyone would do. I did whatever I had to do to find work. I worked under the table. I worked for electricians. I tried to get a job selling insurance, even though nobody was trying to buy insurance at that time because they were just trying to put food on the table, right? And so I got divorced. My ex-wife went under some issues and everything else, and I got divorced. I couldn't bring in money in the table as much as she wanted, and it affected me immensely. I went under a depression for about a year. It was devastating for me, right? So I went under massive amounts of pain. But guess what I learned? I learned what that pain felt like. That pain was like fire burning into my soul, and I wanted to do things to prevent myself from ever feeling that way ever again. And I'm now married. I've been with my wife now. We've been together for 8 years, and her name is Alicia, and she is freaking amazing. You know, I'm blessed to have her in my life, and I wouldn't be half the man I am now without her. I give her all the credit and all the accolades. I told her that, I tell everybody, if I earn $100 million and something ever happens, she without a doubt gets 50 million of it. She does, without a doubt. If I make $1 billion, without a doubt of it, she gets half of it. She's earned it 100%. I wouldn't be half the man without her, 100%. Okay. And so I'm on this rise. I'm having a good time, but between the years of 2006 and 2019, I've read a tremendous amount of books, over 1,000, at least 1,000 books. I'm thinking more like 1,400 books. I study a lot of different things to be able to remember that pain. That's the one thing that's really great about pain is your body doesn't forget it as long as you don't drug yourself. You can do things and take painkillers and opiates and all that stuff to minimize it, but you never forget that level of pain. If you're a mom and you give birth to a kid all natural, and then you give birth to a kid with an epidural, there's a huge difference. Huge difference. And I know this because I have children, right? And I've talked to several women, it's just crazy. There's a huge difference. And guess what? A lot of the women that go natural, they always say, oh, I'm definitely going natural next time. But it was in the moment, though, the pain was overwhelming. But guess what happened? The endorphins after the birth was given was even more worth it, right? And so, we even talk about like other things, right? And so the comfort zone is definitely an area that you have to work on. If you are in the comfort zone right now, you're making good money, you're a stay-at-home mom, or whatever the case may be, your bills are being paid and everything else, you need to feel and act like you're broke. I'm looking at you right now, right? That's right. If you're listening to me on my podcast, great. Go to my YouTube video and look at the sincerity in my eyes. You are in danger. You are not safe at all. This world can still touch you, my friend. Recessions last for years. If you don't have years of cash flow locked up, if you don't have assets being generated, if you're not living a minimalist lifestyle, I'm telling you, you're in danger. Do you have any idea how many people in the real estate game in 2007 and 2008 have started off some sort of speech or conversation with, well, I was worth millions of dollars. I was making millions of dollars. But I can't do it now. Why? Because their credit sucks. They were hemorrhaging risk on top of risk. They were collateralizing 30 to 1 on towards of income. And one little blip that happened, boop, they're done. Okay? So if you're comfortable, I need you to act and feel like you're uncomfortable. And the best way to feel like you're uncomfortable is by looking at how much you're spending on all your stuff. If you're spending 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110% of your monthly income to pay for your comfortability, you're in danger. You need to stop. You need to immediately drop that to 30 to 50% and figure out how you can double your income right now. If I can teach my son how to make $1,000 on Amazon selling products or on eBay or at his school with his friends or whatever, he's buying book bags and selling them for a profit. If I can teach my son to do this for 1 hour a day and to make $1,000 in a week, you can double your income if you are just creative enough and get off your lazy butt. That's right. Comfortable butts are lazy butts. 100%. Okay? The next thing I want to talk about, the people that I have studied the most, believe it or not, Jared, you won't believe your mind, right? The highest percentage of people that are becoming millionaires in the United States are immigrants or children of immigrants. I'm talking about people that are worth millions of dollars in this country that can't speak a lick of English, or they can and they just choose not to speak it. They're making millions of dollars. They're starting off doing it. Know why? Because they've come from nothing. Their family has inherited those habits of having nothing. They have the work ethic of a freaking mule. They're willing to work every single hour of that 168 hours a week. And because they can't speak English when they first come here, they're not told and taught in a way that they can understand that makes sense that the American dream of mastering leverage and living free is going to school, acquiring $100,000 in debt, and working here at this restaurant for $15 an hour. That's not what they signed up for when they came here. That's not what they wanted. They're willing to start off working at this company for minimum wage, to learn the game, to make a little money, to feed their family. But every single dollar that they earn flat out goes to reinvesting in themselves, reinvesting in their family, producing money for their legacy, and thinking about what will set them free. They're always absorbing ways to create leverage and to own things to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? They have it going on. They are not brainwashed by traditional education. That really, if you look at every aspect of school, do they have a resume school? Yes, they have resume classes in school. Right? What is a resume designed for? A resume is designed to go and put your skills on a platform like Indeed, KSL, Craigslist, and all these other job applicational places. Go to an HR outsourcing company and sell your time. That is literally what first grade to 15th grade is, or 16th grade, whatever you want to call it, to get a bachelor's degree, to be able to teach you how to do it. When you have a bachelor's degree, can you sell your time for more? Yes. When you are focusing on making money work for you, does money care that you have a degree? Does money care if it's in your pocket or in a drug dealer's pocket? Do they care if it sits in your pocket or in the bank? It doesn't care about your credentials. It doesn't care about your resume. It doesn't care about the fact that you have 4 kids to feed, bills to pay, and everything else. Everyone wants to think about money as being fair or not fair. Immigrants learn early, life isn't fair. And they accept it, and they learn how to become a player in the game. They stop being played and start becoming a player in the game. So if you want to learn how to get outside and stop subconsciously sabotaging yourself, meet some of these immigrants. What are they doing on certain levels? And realize that they're giving back to their little communities that they're in, right? And that all they're really doing is trying to provide the best life possible for their kids here and abroad. Right? Immigrants have it figured out. The numbers don't lie at all. Okay? Get outside your comfort zone, right? The next thing that I want to talk about is when you're subconsciously sabotaging yourself because of habits, right? Habits are formed so easily when your body relates them with comfortability. So easily, right? Did you know that the average American in the United States, I can't believe it, it drives me insane, watches anywhere between 2 and 5 hours a day of TV. Dude, there are some cities, some states, and some cities and some states that the average American watches 7 hours of TV, bro. 7 hours of TV. That is literally 50 hours of TV a week that they're spending in front of the boob tube on their butts being comfortable. And then they have the audacity to go on social media and become a troll and start dogging somebody who is spending money to try and sell value, right? They're trying to dog what is going on, which is, you're right, you can do that. But you don't have the right to complain about your life and spend 50 hours a week on social media or on television. Right? I always ask people, and this is funny, I learned this from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn asked this question: how much is your TV costing you? And people would say $500, $2,000, $4,000, or whatever. He said, no, I didn't ask you how much your TV cost. I asked you, how much a year is your TV costing you? Because if you weren't watching that TV and you were focused on not becoming a self-sabotager, on a subconscious habit of watching TV, just living on your social media. Now, if you monetize your social media, or your intent is to monetize your social media, then I'm a fan of yours. Okay? Fight that fight, make it happen, follow the rules, play the game, monetize your social media. But if you're on social media for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day, and your objection is just to kill time, then you're subconsciously self-sabotaging. And you're controlled by giving away your attention to social media. Which is, if that's what you want to do, that's fine, but don't complain about money. You can't complain about it then. You can't complain about I don't have this, I can't have that, or it's the government's fault that I don't have this, or anything, or my neighbor should do this, or why doesn't my dad just do this for me, or whatever, right? You can't complain. You don't have the right to complain. You also don't have the right to troll somebody who's trying to do it. You don't, right? So the other thing that I like to talk about that helps people get out of self-sabotage, bro, this is so effective. You want to get outside of self-sabotage? Get into some danger. Get into some financial danger. Get into some physical danger. Get into some medical bills. Get into a car accident. Right? If you are, get a DUI, right? All of these things that cause your activity to freaking quintuple. You want to see somebody's activities go from spending 7 hours a day on the couch to 30 minutes on the couch after they solved the problem that took them 7.5 hours to solve? Watch that person get a DUI. Watch that person how fast they can come up with $2,000 or $3,000 to hire the best attorney to help them try and navigate through these legal murky waters of solving that problem, right? They will literally turn over every rock in the world. They'll make calls to people they haven't talked to in decades. They do all of these things to solve that problem. You will see people that are in danger. They'll be knocking on your door, right? Hey, Johnny, do you have a second? Yeah, and right there, and you know they're going to ask you for a favor. You know that they're going to look out, right? Yeah, I just need help with this. I just need to, this one time, this one thing happened at this one place, right? And their activity is going to 10x, right? So people in danger financially, physically, whatever, their activity goes through the roof. I'm not talking about having a gun in your face. I'm not talking about, a bank's being robbed and you're there. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm talking about, getting into a car accident and having $1,000 deductible that you don't have any money for because you're too busy spending all your money on your stuff. I'm talking about that your house got wrecked in a hurricane that you couldn't control, and your insurance isn't going to cover the damage. And you were too hemorrhaging of all your money to pay for all your stuff. You weren't focusing on how to double, triple your income using the 6 pillars of leverage, like money, resources, technology, time, relationships, how to create new relationships, how to leverage somebody else's abilities to make you money. You didn't choose to do that. You chose to watch 5 hours of TV and 3 hours of social media. That's what you chose to do. Because as long as everything went perfect, nothing went wrong, you were good to go. And so why would I want to grow? Why would I want to do that? And then danger happens and boom, 10x. It happens right now, right? So the other thing that I've really learned to myself, and this is part of the game zone, right? The game zone is something that I talk about all the time, right? Do you want to know the difference between the danger zone and the game zone? The only real big difference is you're actually not in danger in the game zone. Your activity is the same. Your level of urgency is the same. Your level of panic is the same. Your level of problem solving is the same. But you're physically, financially not in any danger. You're trying to level up. People look at Michael Jordan as the best basketball player of all time. And in a lot of aspects, I agree. But he leveled up. Nobody ever saw Kobe Bryant's 1,000 free throws he did every day. No one ever saw LeBron James's three-pointers that he practices over and over and over again on one-step drop. You know, no one ever sees that. No one saw Emmitt Smith win the Super Bowl, take one day off, and come back and hit the weights for the next year to do a repeat. Nobody saw that. Everybody only saw Michael Jordan win 6 championships. Everyone only saw LeBron James' $100 million Nike endorsement. They only saw, Tom Brady's 5 Super Bowl rings. Right? Nobody ever sees the actual level of game zone that these guys experience and conduct on a daily basis. They live, eat, and breathe in the game zone. Now, if you want to be a game zone person and stop subconsciously self-sabotaging yourself, then you need to actually identify what the hell it is that you want to do, how you want to do it, and 10x your efforts of getting it done. Now, before you can even 10x your efforts on what you're doing, you need to, 1, create a strategy, and 2, how to measure the results of the execution of your strategy. Okay? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But for whatever reason, you're okay 100% with making the same amount of money, paying the same amount of bills, and as long as nothing happens, I don't need to read a book. I don't need to go to the seminar. I don't need to go to this place and meet these new people. I don't need to be part of this network group. I don't need to do any of those things because life is good for me. I don't need to hire this marketing agency that will help double my business or triple my business because I'm content my bills are paid. People, if you want to have your goals achieved, if you want things about your life to change, then you need to change some things about your life. And that's realizing the difference between comfortability, danger, and the game zone. And I'm telling you, in the game zone, it's where you don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. and work out, but you do. That's the difference. In the game zone, it's not about what you want to do or don't want to do. It's the fact that you consistently and discipline yourself to do it. That's exactly the only difference. Michael Jordan probably shot 5 million free throws in his whole life. Do you think he wanted to do that every single shot? Do you think that he wanted to play those games? Do you think that he was happy when he lost those championships? No, he wasn't. Do you think he wanted to go in the workout room and train till his knees were crazy and then go in the ice tub for 30 minutes? If anyone's ever been in an ice tub, let me just tell you, these ice tubs are mental torture for the first 3 minutes. Mental torture for the first 3 minutes, right? And if you go in slow, it's even longer. It's even longer. But guess what? After the first 3 minutes, it feels so good. Feels so good, right? Or if you want to test your game zone level, this is what I want you to do, right? I want you to do this or something like this. I want you to be willing to do something that scares you as much as skydiving scares me, right? Where I physically know I have this dude on my back. He's got a parachute. I got 2 parachutes on me, that no one's died in the last 5 years. And the likelihood of me dying is the same likelihood of me getting struck by lightning twice. Maybe a little higher, right? But I'm good, right? And you know, go there, do the course, wear the stuff, see the plane, see the door, right? Put on your stuff, walk there, walk yourself into the plane, have them take off, go up that 10,000, 12,000, 11,000 square feet up, all the way to the sky, and then watch that guy open that door, okay? Literally, danger zone will be screaming out of my brain. Danger, danger, danger. I'm too big. This dude can't do it. You can't hold me. Literally, my subconscious will do everything in my power to yell at me repeatedly to get me to go back in the comfort zone where I'm nice and safe, because that is what my subconscious is designed to do, is to keep you safe and keep you comfortable. And guess what? In the game zone is where you consciously tell your subconscious that I'm not going to die and that you need to shut up and watch the consciousness work. And I did that. And I went skydiving. And as soon as I jumped off the plane, man, it was the most exhilarating, most adrenaline rush ever. And I mean, like, dude, I felt like I landed in like a minute or maybe a minute and a half or 2 minutes. I don't care. But it was the best 2 minutes of my life. You know, like the perspective that I was able to have by overcoming that, I feel like I could overcome everything. Another one that I have to fight, and I'm even fighting it right now, is the battle of food. So many Americans are battling the battle of food. It's, oh my God. Let me get some water right here. The battle of food is real. The battle of healthy eating in this country and healthy nourishment in this country is at an ultimate epidemic level, right? Heart disease is killing tens of thousands of people every single year in this country. It's absolutely insane. You know, the fast food restaurants are killing more people than drive-bys. You know, it's heart disease is like the number one killer, right? And so I have to tell you honestly that one of my battles that I deal with, because I love the taste of food, I love to eat, I love it, right? I have a nutritionist. She's great. She gives me an opportunity to eat all these different choices of foods and all this stuff all the time. And I've been getting better, but I used to be a health nut. I used to be a freak. I used to have six-pack abs. I used to be shredded. I used to have all that stuff. And, you know, I kind of lost my drive when one of my best friends died. You know, my buddy Justin, he died. And I just lost my synergy with the weight room. I lost my synergy with health and fitness and nutrition. And I just got away from it. And now I'm getting back into shape. I've already lost about 27 pounds. I'm going on this journey right now. I'm trying to convince Jared to wake up early in the morning and go to the gym with me, Mr. Production over here. And he says he will, but watch what happens when I try to call him tomorrow morning at 5:30 in the morning. I'll meet you at the gym at 6, and that phone will go right to voicemail. He's shaking his head no. We'll see. We're going to see. I'm going to call him tomorrow at 5:30 in the morning. I'm going to make a note. Make a note right now. Boom. 5:30 tomorrow. Rob's calling me. Make a note. Okay? And to be able to work on those things. And I'm starting to get my synergy back in the weight room. And I'm realizing that food is only meant for one purpose. On a subconscious level, on a conscious, real level, on a full perspective level, food is only providing nourishment for survival of your body. That's the only purpose that food has. You remember when Gatorade first was created? It was horrible. The NFL players did not want to drink it at all, but they started drinking it because the electrolytes in the fourth quarter kicked in, and the other team that wasn't taking it was dying. And teams would start winning because the professional athletes, they might be worse than the guy in front of them by half, but that guy's dead, and I have energy, so I can outrun him in the fourth quarter. And teams would come back by like 28-point deficits, 38-point deficits, and come back and win in the fourth quarter because Gatorade was there providing that nourishment, that salty water back in the day. Do you know that now Gatorade is all about sugar and all the other stuff? It's mostly the name and the brand is developed, but the nourishment is nothing nearly what it was. But the commercial population of it was very minor because the taste was atrocious. The average consumer hated the taste. And so if you are a consumer that are struggling with weight, if you are somebody that's struggling with nourishment, struggling with your vitamins, struggling with food, right? I'm here to tell you right now that as a caveman, and I'm not a caveman, but on a caveman nucleus term, food is only designed for nourishment and survival of you. That's it. Your taste buds are secondary to nourishment and survival. And if you can eat well, let me just tell you some facts, okay? If you eat the right amount of food and get the right amount of nourishment and have the right vitamins for your body, you could be on this program for a few years and you'll get abs. You can have a six-pack. You can be toned. You can be lean. You can look fit, right? But on the contrary, if you eat whatever you want and only eat for taste, and again, I'm not just telling you this, I'm telling you this for me as well as you. Right? But if you eat whatever you want, no matter how hard you work at the gym, no matter how hard or how consistent you are working out, you will never get abs. You will never be toned. You ever see that show, World's Strongest Men? Right? These guys train for hours a day, every day, all the time, and they have huge bellies because of all the calories and everything they have to take in to be able to feed their muscles and stuff like that, right? But there's some of them who are huge and do really, really well, but they look fit. That's because one focuses more on nourishment and the other ones focus more on taste. And carbs taste amazing. Pastas, bread, starches, chips. Those all are designed to taste good. But they're also designed to take years off your life if you eat them in excess. There's a guy who did a study on McDonald's. He ate McDonald's every day for 30 days. And they said that his liver aged 10 years in 30 days because he just ate McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Anything that ages your liver by 10-fold, right? By literally, so he had 1 month. He aged his liver 120 months. So literally 120 times more advanced his liver, okay? And he gained 40 pounds in a month. That's somebody who did something just to prove a point to you, right? He was willing to sacrifice 10 years of his liver. Hopefully he's making enough money now to buy a new one or get a piece of a new one, right? But you have to stop subconsciously self-sabotaging, right? Another one is called the fear to fail. The fear to fail in your self-sabotage is because you're scared to feel embarrassment, and you're probably harder on yourself than this world is on you. If you're watching this video right now or you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to tell you something. I need you to take it to heart, and I need you to realize this 100%. You need to be your number one raving fan and compliment and take what I call those micro victories. You know, I talk about those micro victories, right? When you get a micro victory, like you lost a pound, or you went to the gym every day for a week, right? Those 5 days, right? And you did that cardio even though you didn't want to, or you did the sauna though you didn't want to, or you did all those different things consistently for a short period of time. You need to take those micro victories, right? And then also be your number one fan and pick yourself up when you're down. When something doesn't go according to plan, don't be harder on yourself than this world is. I know everyone's saying that failure is a loser and that you're this and you're that, and you either pass and go to the next grade, or you fail and you stay behind all your friends and everyone else, and they put all this pressure on you, and you're brainwashed to feel all that pressure, okay? Let me just tell you, there's no such thing as failure. In my mind and what I teach my kids, there is no such thing as failure. I teach my kids either how to succeed or how to learn what they did that didn't help them get where they wanted to go. But they learned that doing it this way didn't get them the results they wanted, right? Right now I'm teaching my son that playing basketball against kids who are better than him are the only way to get better. And in his mind, he has brainwashed himself to think that I only want to play people that I'm better than, so that I never feel what it's like to be a loser. Because he's rating losing with failing. And it's like, I will never be accepted in this world. Girls won't like me. I won't make any friends. I won't make any money. I'm going to be a loser. No one will follow me on Instagram or YouTube or any of that stuff. I'm a loser. That's what he tells himself inside his brain. And so that's just how he's been programmed. It's not real. It's not true, right? You can't be feared. You can't have fear of failing. You can't, right? And so I challenge you. Go on a 30-day diet and eat for nourishment. Don't eat for taste. Just do it for 30 days. And in your brain, tell yourself that I'm not listening to my subconscious. I'm going to listen to my conscious in the game zone. And I want you to try and count on a daily basis how many times your subconscious tries to talk you out of eating for nourishment and eating for good tasting food, because it wants to sabotage you, because it wants you to stay comfortable. That's why. I'm 100%. I'm telling you, do it for a day. And just let me know how many times your subconscious told you, Rob, just eat a chip. Rob, just, drink that soda. You don't need to drink any water. You don't need to have any water, right? That water doesn't have any taste. Come on, Rob, right? Or if you don't want to do the diet, I got another one for you. I want you to meditate for 5 to 10 minutes. Not longer than that, just 5 or 10. I want you to put your phone on airplane mode. I want you to turn your laptop on sleep or turn it off or whatever. Go into a room, even if it's a bathroom. Lock the door, right? Put the do not disturb sign on there. Put the sock on the door. Whatever you got to do, find a place by yourself for 5 to 10 minutes. More than 5, less than 10, right? It's fine. And then I want you to just sit there in silence. Just sit there in silence. And I want you to realize after about 60 seconds, maybe even 6 seconds, right? How fast your subconscious will tell you you're bored. You got to check your phone. You might have a notification on social media. Check your email. Maybe someone just texts you. Or why is your phone on airplane mode? This is boring, right? Or why can't we go watch TV? Like literally your subconscious will go down the category line of different types of stuff to get you to do it because it's not used to this pattern. This pattern doesn't make any sense. And because it can't make any sense, it's automatically going to relate it to danger. Meditation is danger for your subconscious in the comfort zone. But guess what? I am getting myself up to being able to do 30 minutes to an hour now a day of meditation. Every single day, 7 days a week. I put my phone away. I put my laptop down. I put all my pen and paper away. And I tell my assistant and everyone else to leave me alone, put the do not disturb sign on my door, and I battle with my subconscious, right? Basically, I want you to picture this with your subconscious, right? That you consciously are the dog, and your subconscious in your comfort zone is the human. And you're getting walked around. And what you want to achieve in this world, the impact you want to deliver in this world will never happen for as long as they are walking you and you aren't walking them. The subconscious in the comfort zone needs to be walked. And you're the walker, not the one being walked. Just like I say in the game of capitalism, are you being played or are you a player? Well, I'm telling you, unless you start battling your subconscious and stop subconsciously self-sabotaging, that's what's going to happen. So I challenge you to go ahead and try and do that, right? So I hope the information I gave you today was beneficial. The topic today was called self-sabotage subconsciously, right? So stop subconsciously sabotaging yourself. And let's figure out what we're doing. I challenge you to either do the diet for nutrients only, nourishment only, or do 5 to 10 minutes of meditation a day for even just one day. Try and do it for a week, but do it for a day. And let me know on my website, on this YouTube channel, or on my podcast comments how you did, right? And remember, you're in power, not your subconscious, not your comfort zone. And the difference between the danger zone and the game zone is that in the game zone, you're not actually in danger, but your activities are just as effective. They're just as urgent. They're just as creative. They're just as effective. Right? That's how you level up. That's how Michael Jordan became Michael Jordan. That's how LeBron James became LeBron James. Right? You've seen all these guys who became the best basketball players in the world in college, like Carmelo Anthony. Let's be honest, right? Carmelo Anthony was number 2 in the draft against LeBron James. LeBron James didn't go to college. Carmelo Anthony did go to Syracuse and win a championship there. And they went to the NBA. And Carmelo, he did okay. But Carmelo Anthony did not capitalize on the NBA the way that LeBron James has. He just hasn't. He hasn't capitalized on the endorsements. He hasn't capitalized on anything, right? And the difference is the subconscious comfort level versus the conscious discipline of LeBron James. So I give LeBron James all the credit in the world because he is constantly going there working. But he has mentors, coaches, friends, and leaders, and his wife and his kids helping him, right? So don't try to do this on your own, right? Get it what I call an accountability partner to help you. Hold you accountable. Hey, this is Rob Clark. This is Lifeaneur. I hope you found value in this. If you did, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast. Give me some comments. And if you saw value in this, just share it with a friend. That's all. If you found value for this. If you didn't find any value in this, that's okay. But I don't want you to share it. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Have a Lifeaneur experience.